An emergency landing was terribly needed on this broken Boeing 747, and the pilot Harry felt relieved to be so lucky to spot an aircraft carrier just ahead of them. There was no airport or even land around them, so he had no choice but to risk the landing. But there were risks involved that Harry didn't even think about. Looking back, Harry should have looked for another option. Anything would have been better than this terrible place. Just after successfully completing the emergency landing, Harry knew something was terribly off about this aircraft carrier. He kept wondering why it was so deep into the ocean, and after seeing what it was hiding, he immediately understood. Harry realized that he should have looked for other options. This was a risk to all the passengers aboard, perhaps even more of a risk than flying with one broken wing. What did he get himself into? Harry realized he had no choice but to escape. He had to think of the safety of the passengers, and after seeing what this aircraft carrier was hiding, he couldn't let them stay here any longer. He had to escape, with or without the plane. But what was this aircraft carrier hiding? Why was it so dangerous to the passengers? And why did Harry regret this emergency landing so terribly? Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Harry flies a plane from Melbourne to Los Angeles. It's quite a journey. It's taking its toll on the experienced pilot, but unfortunately, on the plane as well. While he's flying over the Atlantic Ocean, Harry notices the power of one of his wings rapidly going down. There was trouble ahead. Harry manages to remain calm, as he's trained to deal with situations like this. However, he realizes that the wing might not be fixable while they're still in the air and starts to worry. The passengers seem to notice the damaged wing as well and start to grow restless. Then, Harry sees something in the distance. It's the aircraft carrier, looking like a safe landing spot. Well, looks can be deceiving. The first signs of something being off about this aircraft carrier don't take long to show themselves. Harry's co-pilot, Walter, who barely survived the upcoming adventure, tries to make contact with the ship but doesn't get a response at all. The pilots realize they really have to land by now. If it wasn't possible to land with permission, then there was no other option than to land without it. After all, the nearest airport was hundreds of miles away. They had no other option than to land on the aircraft carrier. Harry starts landing the plane, which takes all the skills he has. He feels the pressure of getting the passengers unharmed on safe grounds, but realizes he has to take some risks and land at high speed. It was going to be a rough landing, and the crew of the aircraft carrier wouldn't like this. Well, not liking it was an understatement. Harry and Walter manage to safely land the plane, but not without struggle. They check on the passengers. Even though they seem to feel anxious, all of them are unharmed. Harry is relieved but can't enjoy the successful landing. He has to look for the crew of the aircraft carrier. Harry and Walter head toward the cabin of the aircraft carrier after handing over the command of the passenger to the stewardesses. It's quite a distance, and as they get closer to the cabin, they see multiple jet fighters covered in dust and barely taken care of. What could be the meaning of this? They reach the cabin. Something strange catches their eye. Even though it's broad daylight, the curtains are closed. Walter knocks on the door but gets no reaction. He steps back for Harry to try as well. Harry knocks on the door and says hello, but receives no answer as well. The pilots are about to leave when something happens. Harry and Walter hear a hoarse voice saying, "Who's there? Don't you know not to wake me at this hour?" Harry steps forward and follows according to the given protocol. He tells the captain his name, the number of their Boeing, the airline, and the reason for their emergency landing. Then they hear the captain laugh from inside his cabin. The hoarse laugh seems to be a bit contagious. Harry and Walter can't help but feel a little uneasy and just laugh along. They look at each other in disbelief and decide just to play along when the captain starts to laugh even louder. Then he stops to say something to Harry and Walter. "I advise you to fix that precious piece of metal of yours and fly off. Don't let me catch you when I really wake up." Harry and Walter don't know what they're hearing. Where did this come from? They walk off and decide to return to the plane in order to reach the control room. They shouldn't have done that. They enter the cockpit and try to make contact with the control room right away. For some reason, the regular connection doesn't seem to be working. Luckily, there still is an emergency line. Walter tries it, and after a while, they hear a voice on the other side of the line. However, it wasn't the voice they were hoping to hear. It was the hoarse voice of the captain. He hijacked their connection and stopped the two pilots from reaching out to the control room. Things started to get heated now, as they were truly dependent on the captain from here on. Harry breaks out in a sweat. The captain tells them to stay on the plane for now until the sun goes under, and when the sun was finally under, they would be his personal dinner guests. Harry and Walter understand to cooperate with the captain, as they depend on him for food and water. If only they knew. In the meantime, the passengers grow more restless with each passing minute. The stewardesses come to report this message as they are terribly under pressure. They need some rest, and preferably some answers about what to expect. One of the passengers enters the cockpit to ask the pilots what is going on. It's a middle-aged man demanding food and water. The pilots respond calmly but don't have the patience to keep reassuring them. Then, the passenger does something surprising. The man tells the pilots that he'll search the ship himself to get something to eat. He sarcastically says, "No, don't worry, I'll get it myself." He then takes off, and Harry and Walter try to stop him, but to no good. Looking back, this was the last time they'd see this passenger. The sun goes down. Harry and Walter realize it's the moment of truth. They have to go to the captain in the dark. As they prepare themselves, they realize how crazy all of this is. "I didn't sign up for this," Walter says, the least brave of the two. He'd turn out to be a lot braver when things actually would become dangerous. They arrive at the cabin and knock on the door. The captain opens the door. It's an old man, looking shabby and barely alive. The man is clearly drunk by now and apologizes for his former behavior. The captain had an odd request. "Allow me to give you a tour around the ship," he says. Harry and Walter feel obligated to accept and tell the captain that they'll follow him. Some terrible secrets were about to be revealed, and Harry and Walter prepared, rightfully so, for the worst. They start the tour at the lower deck, where the captain had stored munition and all sorts of firearms. It was a terrifying sight, seeing all these powerful weapons being controlled by such a lunatic of a man. Then, the pilots see something surprising. They see a photo of the captain from years ago. They recognize him as a notorious escaped army leader and realize this is where was hiding for all this time. He was a terribly dangerous man. Luckily, one of the stewardesses managed to reach their home country by her cell phone. They all get rescued, and the captain gets arrested.